going on, guys? Wanted to do a quick update video on SharkTron and LionTron. Just got into LionTron yesterday, and it was around for one day. It went down. They did a rug pull, and it looked like the same developers. There's some proof online that it was the same developers. It was set up in the same way, and sure enough, about an hour later, SharkTron, SharkDeFi, SharkInvest, those all went down as well. They made off with about well over $7 million. It's sitting in this account here right now. So, I was watching a video. Apparently, there's a connection to this Russian developer. So that's, take that for what it's worth. I don't know how much is in that. I mean, these are high risk platforms. You're going to take some L's from time to time. This was my biggest L of the year. So this was, I lost about 110,000 Tron, about 100,000 Tron in all of the SharkTron Dapps, and about 10,000 Tron in LionTron. Just got into that the other day. So just got to try to make it back in other platforms, try to get into some less riskier ones. I was probably taking more of a risk in that one. That was one of the ones that I had the most invested in that I would consider high risk. It was number 2 on Dapps radar, and the other ones were like number 3 and number 4. It was performing really well. The interest rates were all over 4%, so that's a little bit of a red flag. They had hidden code that was brought up in the DeFi audits report, and for that reason, they didn't want anything to do with that project, and they were spot on in their assessment of that. So I'm going to be putting more weight into some of the audit reports that come back from DeFi audits. That's a great resource. Their community is growing quite a bit, and they have the ability to give a very broad overview of some of these projects. Now, I mean, they've done reviews on projects that, that also, that didn't do well, or, there was several ROI Dapps that I got in that, they reviewed and looked okay from their end. And I got into those like very, very early, within about as early as you could get into those projects, and lost money in most all of them of those types that I got in that they had reviewed. And so that to me signifies that there was some inauthenticity going on with those projects. All of this stuff really does not give people confidence that these projects are going to be sustainable. It really has drained people's enthusiasm for getting into some of these because of all of the scams, particularly on Tron. I know there's ones on Ethereum. I haven't got as involved in the ones on Ethereum because Tron is a much more liquid environment, and for that reason, it's really easy to kind of move funds around and try out different things. And so a new thing pops up, they manipulate it to get free advertising on a place, like Dapps radar. People see it, and they think it's, worth the risk. I certainly did. I mean, I continue to put more and more money in that as my confidence was growing with that, and as I was making money in some of the other ones. So, I lose money in some of these other projects, some of these higher risk projects, but I've also been crushing it in TronChain. Like, TronChain is earning me about $150 a day in Tron, about 5,300 Tron, as you can see from this chart right here. This is a group that we have. I'm currently making over 5% a day in TronChain, and that is the #1 Dapp in the world. It's growing. So that's one that I'm looking to put some more money in, because it's going well, and I'm earning money. I've already gotten my initial capital back, and some on those. So TronChain's going well. I think the other one that I have the most amount of funds in is Bankroll, because I have a lot of confidence in what they're doing. I mean, Bank Teller has been around over 2 years. I've talked with him a few different times on the phone. I've talked with him many times over Telegram. I've done many videos on that ecosystem. There's a big active community, so there's a lot more transparency there. Even with TronChain, you have Andreas that's is doing live streams, showing his face. I mean, he's out there. So I have more confidence in those. It doesn't mean that those can't ultimately rug pull or do some sort of massive scam. I mean, we've seen platforms like passive income platforms in the past that had a name and a face and were coming out and doing some of those things, and they ended up exit scamming. So there's, you just, you have to have a little bit of diversity. You need to go into projects that are, have a little bit more longevity, a little bit more legitimacy, and not risk as much in some of these high risk projects. And so that's, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to get into some of these. I'm still going to cover and review some of these projects, but it's something that, it hurts, like I lost a lot of money. I don't know anyone in the various Telegram groups that lost more money than me in those projects. So if you lost in those, I feel your pain, but this is part of crypto. If you're going to be in crypto long enough, you're going to take some L's. And I've certainly had a number of different, wins. And I'm currently winning with TronChain. I'm winning with Bankroll Farm. You just got to run with your winners and, be a little bit more careful and doing, be more selective on some of the other projects that you're getting into. So now I got the DeFi audits report a little bit late. I didn't read that report until after I was already 100K in Tron in. So, at that point, I was kind of already invested. So it did shake my confidence and it really, I was thinking it was a little bit more medium risk because of the popularity of the Dapp and things like that. When I saw that, it really moved into a high risk category for me. And, that's, but I just started, I basically got to the point where I was going to start withdrawing, but I wasn't even in that thing more than a week or two, probably about 2 weeks or so, with all of the different developments. SharkInvest had just come out. So, it sucks, it's unfortunate, and I'm gonna be trying to get into better projects. And if I do, look at some of these other riskier projects, I'll let you know. So the risky ones that I'm in right now, if you're looking at, I'm really in 5 I consider high risk. And there are 2 different types. So there's the ROI Dapp type, and then there is the farming staking style. So the most money that I have invested right now is in SharkInvest, and I also got the report late on that one. DeFi Audits does not like that project because they did have a withdraw feature, and they just recently implemented this new thing on their website that you need to have a certain amount of the coin in your wallet to be able to withdraw. So kind of some more shenanigans. It is admittedly shaking the confidence of people that are in that project. I'm about 30K Tron in right now, and I'm gonna stay, for now, and just farm those. Hopefully it turns around. The token price has tanked considerably. It's about a third of the price of where it was at when I was in. So that's kind of that's unfortunate with some of these farming projects. The other one that I got into, this one looks, I have it on my list, but it looks to me like they have exited, but I just don't know enough about it. It just seems this one was really raw. It was way more high risk probably than I should have gotten into. I put about 5,000 Tron into it, but NortFinance does not look good. So I just caught wind of that. Looked like something that if you got in early on the first day, you could have done really well. You've certainly seen that with some of these staking or farming type projects. You get in the first day or so, you can get nearly most of your ROI or your initial investment back. And so that's what I was hoping with that, and it just does not look good. So I'm gonna still follow that one, but those are, Shuriken, I feel like that could have some sustainability. That could be more of a long-term thing, but the token price is continuing to go down. It has a very low supply. NortFinance, it just looks like a giant mess. So, and then with the ROI Dapps, I'm in Tron, Aurora Credit, and Tron 3X. I've got the most in Tron, and I probably invested, that was, when I got into that project, that was more when I was making a lot of money in these ROI Dapps. So I probably put more in that than I should have. But the audit report came back okay on that one. The balance took a huge dip if you look at the dynamics there. So that that doesn't look good. like when you're like that doesn't look authentic. You know, I don't see someone putting in, you know, like a massive amount of money, unless it was like the developers or something like that, and then withdrawing at that time. But the balance is going down. I'm not sure if I'm going to ROI on that. You know, I'm still I still have about 4,000 Tron or so to go until I ROI on that project. Aurora Credit is the other one. You know, this also came back okay with the audit reports. I just, you know, I'm not too sure about that. I only put about 2,000 Tron in that one, but you know, that one seems okay. But like those are some ones like I'm only going to put like a few thousand Tron in those, and that's all I would recommend with some of these. But those are the higher risk ones. Tron 3X, you know, I don't have much in that. But when you're looking at some of the what I would consider medium risk, I'm in Bankroll, I'm in DSP, even though that has really collapsed in terms of the profits that are going in. I put a lot into that, but and a lot of people are calling that a scam. I don't necessarily see it that way. I think it could rebound, you know, over time. Perhaps compete with T2X. It doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. It's just had a real huge pump in the beginning and has come down considerably. So I think with some of those, like one of the things you're seeing, I'm not sure if you can do this with T2X, but people are, they're staking and they're making like just insanely long stakes. And once they get to a certain point, they essentially like end their stake and they just say, screw the tokens, you're gonna lose those anyways. And they would just take the Tron. So they would take the, because you're getting a higher percentage of the Tron if you're staking for a really long time. And so perhaps people are exploiting the contract in that way. You know, that's something to look at. That might hurt the overall longevity and legitimacy of that project. So I'm in 30-day stakes. So you know, it hasn't been that long just yet. So we'll see. But you know, I'm anticipating that I'll at minimum, you know, ROI, and I'm just going to kind of redo those stakes. Same thing with T2X. I'm like, you know, I've only got about 20,000 Tron in that, and I mean that's been going fairly well. I know they came out with the V2X farming. I haven't looked into that too well, but I know a lot of people were saying that didn't go over very well. So I mean, I'm looking to really kind of roll a lot of my profits into more of the successful ones. Bankroll TronChain right now, and perhaps getting out of Tron entirely and getting into you know, some other projects that have more legitimacy behind them. One of them I'm going to do a video on my main channel was the growth DeFi, grow tokens and G tokens. I think that's a really great opportunity to get into those right now. That's a very legitimate project, audited contracts. They have a you know, a 6-figure bug bounty associated with that. They've hired you know, very high-end developer. Like it's a big project, and so I think that one is a safer bet. You know, I talk with those guys all the time. You know, those are going to be better opportunities, and so some of those very legitimate high-end projects, getting into those early can do very well. So with these Tron Dapps and things like that, I feel like the confidence is really not there anymore with just all of the shenanigans that's gone on and all of the scams. It's just been a lot of scams. So I mean, with the ROI Dapps, I mean overall I'm ahead, but not by much. And if Finny Tron doesn't do well and some of these other ones, I mean I'm pretty much at break even. So it just kind of ends up being a giant wash. And you know, with some of these staking Dapps that have come out, you know, they carry a little bit more risk. I'm going to be doing more research on you know, the audit reports that come on some of these. I mean, some of these they're just, you know, they're very they don't have a whole lot of money behind them, and audits can be very expensive. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things you're dealing with if they have hidden code, unaudited projects with you know, very scummy people in charge of them. You know, that's some of the things that you're unfortunately going to deal with if you get involved with some of these. That's part of the high risk, high reward element of getting in these. But curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I've left a number of links below for projects that I'm in right now if you guys want to get involved. There are higher risk ones and medium risk ones. So I've broken those down in the way that I'm looking at them. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I'll try to give you guys more of an update. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.